Carlos Lei. I'm the co-founder of Uplink, where we're building decentralized connectivity infrastructure. Very simply, what we're building is a marketplace. In one side, we have businesses, they need connectivity for their systems. We have telcos, they need infrastructure to basically scale connectivity in the world. And on the other side, what we do is we incentivize people to either deploy new connectivity infrastructure or to already use whatever connectivity infrastructure exists today, such as Wi-Fi router you have at home, and we merge the two. So basically you have companies and they need connectivity for their systems. And today it's a headache for them to connect this. They have to do different deals with different telecom companies in different areas of the world. So what we do for them is like, hey, where do you need connectivity? What type of connectivity do you need? We're gonna incentivize a bunch of people there to basically provide that connectivity for you. That gives you coverage. You start having regions where you have people providing connectivity using their Wi-Fi routers or smaller cells. And with that infrastructure, you can basically go to the telecoms and be like, hey guys, do you wanna offload your networks here? And network offloading and decentralizing connectivity infrastructure for the telcos, it's the natural evolution. Because the reality is, tomorrow we're gonna have billions of new connected devices. There's currently no infrastructure to support all of this, so we're gonna need to consume more, but with the same infrastructure. The thing is, if we scale that infrastructure the way that it's been done today, the financials are just not there. It's super expensive, it costs billions of dollars. At the same time, we're at this really interesting period of time where there's smaller infrastructure that anyone can kind of have at home, obviously not as powerful as like the big billion-dollar ones, but if we have enough distribution, we can basically provide that type of service. And that's where we fit in. So we want to incentivize people to deploy that infrastructure so the telcos can use, so they can provide the service that we're all used to. We actually started almost 10 years ago. And me and my co-founder Andre were from Porto, Portugal, which used to be pitched as the Mesh Valley. And we had this mesh networking startup. So we were doing mesh networking protocols. We would build protocols that would connect one device to multiple devices and those two others and those two others. And we could basically use Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. We even used to pitch that if there's one device connecting using smoke signals, you could use smoke signals. Our business model was just to license that software. But even though we would actually make the sale very quickly, we would have like long cycles until we actually saw some revenue. And the reason why was, let's say you're connecting a bunch of lamp poles in the city, easy to connect all of them to each other, but we discovered it was a nightmare for whoever was building that system to have at least one of them connected to the internet. So they had to do like different deals with different telcos in different areas of the city. Many times they would actually deploy their own connectivity infrastructure. I remember one time, this was near Lisbon, and we were at an Airbnb. There was a lamp pole in the front. We knew like that lamp pole actually has our software installed. I have a Wi-Fi router here. If this Wi-Fi router connected to the lamp pole, the entire system would be connected. Why don't we do it? Let's incentivize people to share their connectivity for nearby systems. When we first looked at crypto, blockchain, it was really as a tool, because first thing is, this has to be transparent. Like, okay, we need to have a database where we know who's providing, who's consuming. That's a headache by itself. The second part, we also need to do billing and settlements, which is like, hey, I provide X amount of data, like, how are you gonna pay me and when and whatever. So blockchain allows us to do all of this. It's actually the perfect tool for this type of use case. You can see every single transaction. You can use smart contracts for billing and settlements. So it was a no-brainer. For us, it was like a natural evolution. When we were searching for blockchains as a tool for us to use in our own system, we had three things that were very important for us. So one is TPS, the other one was uptime, and the other one was community. So I think the first two, the technical aspect, they're there. We saw Avalanche as being future-proof for the type of solutions we wanted to provide. So for example, the fact we could use subnets for a specific customer in the future, that's cool, it's future-proof. But the community side was also something that had a huge impact. So when we looked into the Avalanche community, we actually saw that some of the people that start staking and some of the people that even participated in the airdrops 4 years ago, 4 years later, meaning today, they are still staking in the Avalanche blockchain. And that for us is just a no-brainer on how this company is here to go. The people involved in this project, they're here to stay, and we need that. We have a long-term plan, and we need to work with the tools that also have long-term goals. So 2 years ago, we set to do one thing, which was, let's work with a Fortune 500 company and deploy this somewhere. Let's test it out. So let's prove that, one, people are willing to share connectivity. And then one of the things that we really wanted to prove is this only makes sense if there's network effects. Let's try to see if there's network effects on this. The teams here were very, very quick. We actually, it's been a pleasure working with them. We saw the places. We were like, okay, let's incentivize people to provide connectivity there. Let's use that connectivity to provide connectivity for the customer so they can build whatever system they want there. And let's see if it grows. And it grew. We had regions where I remember we started with like 3 routers in some markets, and 2 weeks later, everyone had it. And even when we look into the numbers, now you look at regions and you have devices consuming 80% more data than that they were using before. So it's like the fact that their system had this connectivity that could provide such a good service even got them new customers in areas where they basically dominated. So we gave, like on average, 23% new customers for these companies using us. So it's been interesting. So when we talk with the enterprises we work with, we're not selling a technology, we're selling them a solution. And what we explain is this: we're building a marketplace, we're providing you connectivity as a service. And blockchain is a part of that solution. So many of these companies, they actually don't even touch crypto, they don't even touch the blockchain. We do all of that for them. They know that we use these tools, but for them, it's the service at the end of the day. We're really targeting a lot in Asia Pacific. We actually have a bunch of people already pre-registering their routers, which is a thing that we allow people to do. So we know like there's this infrastructure here. So Asia Pacific, we're getting a lot of traction, but from the corporate side, from like the demand side, we have a lot of interest in North America and Europe. What gets me excited in the deep end space, it's the fact that there's actually real demand and you can basically build a supply out of it. The moment this becomes just simple, like you need a service, boom, you connect, doesn't matter who's providing it, doesn't matter what's the deep end infrastructure below, that's just like, it's everything as a service. Like you need connectivity, you have that as a service. You need, I don't know, computing power, you have that. It's just gonna be simple. So imagine like in a few years, people can just completely integrate all of these tools and build something fast, something easy, something reliable, and in many cases, cheap. Because I feel this is basically gonna come, it's gonna make sure that most of these systems and tools we need are just gonna become cheaper. It's beautiful. I truly believe that the next trillion-dollar company will be in the telecommunications space, and it will be some type of orchestrator. Someone that can basically make sure that being connected is easy. Doesn't matter what's the infrastructure below. Doesn't matter even what's the protocol. It's just, it will connect. This is such a special time in history because it's like something is growing, more things are getting connected, the infrastructure is not there. At the same time, the infrastructure is there, it's just not being used. Who's gonna be that glue? Someone will do this. We were trying to be us. I really believe that connectivity, it's a human right. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for connectivity. Like I was born in Porto, Portugal, in the suburbs even. Everything I learned about tech was through the internet. Most of the skills that I got were through the internet. If you want to connect with other peers, if you want to learn whatever you want to learn in that moment, you need to be connected. It's an equalizer. Who knows who's going to be studying and being connected anywhere in the world? Who knows what that person will bring to humanity in a few years? So we want to enable that.